Once upon a time, a long time ago, there lived a beautiful maiden named Medusa. Medusa lived in the city of Athens, in a country named Greece. And although there were many pretty girls in the city, Medusa was considered the most lovely. Unfortunately, Medusa was very proud of her beauty and thought or spoke of little else. Each day she boasted of how pretty she was, and each day her boasts became more outrageous. Medusa would gaze lovingly at her reflection in the mirror. She admired herself in her hand mirror for an hour each morning and evening. She even stopped to admire herself in the well each afternoon as she drew water for her father's horses, often forgetting to fetch the water in her distraction. On and on, Medusa went about her beauty to anyone and everyone who stopped long enough to hear her, until one day when she made her first visit to the Parthenon with her friends. The Parthenon was the largest temple to the goddess Athena in all the land. It was decorated with amazing sculptures and paintings. Everyone who entered was awed by the beauty of the place, and couldn't help but think of how grateful they were to Athena, goddess of wisdom, for inspiring them and watching over their city of Athens. Everyone, that is, except Medusa. When Medusa saw the sculptures, she whispered that she would have made a much better subject for the sculpture than Athena had. When Medusa saw the artwork, she commented that the artist had done a fine job, but imagine how much more wonderful the painting would be if it was of Medusa. And when Medusa reached the altar, she sighed happily and said, "My, this is a beautiful temple. It is a shame it was wasted on Athena, for I am so much prettier than she is. Perhaps someday people will build an even grander temple to my beauty." Medusa's friends grew pale. Whispers ran through all the people in the temple, who quickly began to leave, for everyone knew that Athena enjoyed watching over the people of Athens, and feared what might happen if the goddess had overheard. Before long, the temple was empty of everyone except Medusa, who was so busy gazing proudly at her reflection in the large bronze doors that she hadn't noticed the swift departure of everyone else. The image she was gazing at wavered, and suddenly, instead of her own features, it was the face of Athena that Medusa saw reflected back at her. "Vain and foolish girl," Athena said angrily. "You think you are prettier than I am? I doubt it to be true, but even if it were, there is more to life than beauty alone. While others work and play and learn, you do little but boast and admire yourself." Medusa tried to point out that her beauty was an inspiration to those around her, and that she made their lives better by simply looking so lovely. But Athena silenced her with a frustrated wave. "Nonsense," Athena retorted. "Beauty fades swiftly in all mortals. It does not comfort the sick, teach the unskilled, or feed the hungry. And by my powers, your loveliness shall be stripped away completely. Your fate shall serve as a reminder to others to control their pride." And with those words, Medusa's face changed to that of a hideous monster. Her hair twisted and thickened into horrible snakes that hissed and fought each other atop her head. Even you, Medusa, should you seek your reflection, shall turn to rock the instant you see your face. And with that, Athena sent Medusa with her hair of snakes to live with the blind monsters, the Gorgon sisters, at the ends of the earth, so that no innocents would be accidentally turned to stone at the sight of her. the story goes, every town in ancient Greece hoped a god would choose to look after the townspeople. Towns rarely had more than one god to keep an eye on their best interests, because most gods did not share well. At this time in history, not every village had a god. Things were just getting started in ancient Greece. Poseidon loved watching over towns. He usually picked coastal towns, since he was the lord of the sea. Poseidon was a very powerful god. He was a moody fellow too. He liked having people build temples in his honor and bring him gifts. They were not very useful gifts for a god of the sea, but he enjoyed getting them anyway. As Greece grew and developed, new towns sprang up all the time. Poseidon was always on the lookout for new coastal towns. He was not the only god who loved to be in charge. Athena, along with other gods, enjoyed that role as well. One day, on the same day, both Athena and Poseidon noticed a new coastal village. They both claimed this village as their own. Most of the time, humans were grateful when they were selected to be under the care of a god. But two gods? That was one too many. Poseidon wanted the townspeople to choose which god they wanted, himself or his niece, Athena. But the people did not want to choose. They could only see trouble ahead if they did. Athena, goddess of wisdom, daughter of Zeus, understood their worry. She challenged her uncle Poseidon to a contest. Both gods would give the town a gift. The townspeople could decide which gift was the more useful. Poseidon laughed in his mighty laugh and accepted her challenge. He slapped his specter against the side of the mountain. A stream appeared. The people were excited. A source of fresh water was so important. But when they tried to drink the water, they discovered it was not fresh at all. It was salt water. Athena waved her arm, and an olive tree appeared. The people nibbled at the olives. They were delicious. The people were excited. The olive tree would provide wood for building homes. Branches would provide kindling for kitchen stoves and fireplaces. The olives could be used for food. The fruit could be pressed to release cooking oil. It was wonderful. But theirs was a coastal village. The people could not risk angering the Lord of the Sea, the mighty Poseidon. As it turned out, they did not have to choose. Poseidon chose for them. His laugh sent waves crashing against the shoreline. Poseidon proclaimed his niece the winner. That's how a small village gained a most powerful and wise guardian, the goddess Athena, a guardian who helped them rise to fame. In her honor, they named their village Athens.